When I originally purchased my first Sega Dreamcast console, the console was pretty much extinct. PlayStation 2 had been out, or it was about to be released imminently. I think it was about to be released, and I picked a Dreamcast up a couple of months before. And I remember walking into Game Station, a chain of stores which I don't think exists anymore. I know Game took them over and then Game went into receivership or something. But anyway, walked in and they had some old consoles and stuff in a glass cabinet, and I saw a Dreamcast and it said $29.99, and I walked straight up to the counter and I had some games to trade in. I remember trading in Resident Evil Gun Survivor, what was it just called? Yeah, Resident Evil Survivor, whatever, the gun game, and some other titles I can't remember about, because what I was doing was, because I was a young boy, I was actually copying all of my PS1 games using a CD burner and then trading them in, get more games, copy them, trade them in, etc, etc. But it got to a point where I walked in, saw a Dreamcast for $29.99, walked up to the counter, traded some games in, and I said, I want that Dreamcast. And then, you know, I couldn't believe, it's like, wow, you know, only a year or two ago, these things were, I don't know, a couple of £100. And I remember walking out with the Dreamcast. I think I got Soldier of Fortune, Metropolis Street Racer, and something else. But yeah, one of the games I owned originally when I first got a Dreamcast was Revolt. It's not one of the games I picked up when I got the console, I don't believe, but I did have it at some point. After I got the console, I went around sort of hunting for games. The game that I've sort of most coveted, like really wanted to get for the system, well, it was a toss up between Headhunter and Dynamite Cop 2, and I never got Dynamite Cop 2, which was basically like the sequel to Die Hard arcade, but I did get Headhunter. That's a great game, but it was just cool, like having a system that was dead. I think that's what I like about retro gaming. You feel like you can have everything. Let's start with the championship, some funky ass music, blah 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 blah, and yeah, that's one of the charming things about the Dreamcast. While there's some absolute gems on the system, there's some complete tripe as well. This falls sort of in between. It's not a great game. I think it was available on the PlayStation also, possibly the PC. Wasn't really paying much attention to PC gaming at the time. It's a remote control car racer, arcade style obviously, and it's not, I must say it's not my favourite game for the system. I think there was a sort of time in the universe where people were still trying to make that new Micro Machines game that had the success of the original Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, whatever game. No, Super Nintendo. Got nitrous in this game somewhere. Oops, that view. But yeah, they've kind of given up nowadays and just started to try and make Mario Kart clones instead. As you can see, I'm not doing very well at all at the minute. Just got a pumping, cheesy, generic, call this, fucking techno trance or something. Music soundtrack. Graphics wise, let's face it, the graphics aren't amazing, even by Dreamcast standards. I wouldn't really put it into the category of shovelware. You know, shovelware is where they just get a PS1 game, slap it on the Dreamcast with increased resolution, but not necessarily increased fucking texture resolution, resulting in a blocky, horrible mess. I don't even know how I'm going. I'm fucked up here. I am going the right way, I think. Just against the rest of the race. Why do I have to wait for a blowing my car up? Yeah, racing round. The problem with the handling for me is it's a bit sensitive, and then you turn too hard and the car kind of drifts, and then it's not like a progressive drift, it's just an annoying, fucking shitty, inaccurate drift that you have no control over, and you just hit the curb or whatever. So I don't want to fucking race that track. So I remember just racing that track over and over again, and it fucking brings back bad memories. If you want to know what sort of level this game was when it was originally out, it's probably a 6 out of 10 rated game, I'd say. You got different kinds of remote control cars. One looks nice. We'll select supermarket and show you a different track. Yeah, this game I'd say sits between shovelware and an actual good game. As in, it doesn't look bad, it doesn't look amazing, but it doesn't look offensive. But it's also not a classic game. I can't really think of a racing game you'd be a fan of to recommend this. Probably the most ideal thing to compare this game to be will be Motorstorm, bizarrely. It's the only thing it really reminds me of, but just not as good. Obviously multiple routes through the levels and all that stuff like Motorstorm. Fucking hell. I'm shit at words when I've had beer. Beef burgers. Got the in the cockpit view, which to be honest just highlights how sort of oversensitive and sketchy the handling can be in this game. Textures do look a bit blurry there when you're getting close, but yeah, it's smooth, runs decently. The music's quite good for, yeah, they could have made it a lot worse, I guess. Shit rock fucking soundtrack. But yeah, definitely not a game that I'd recommend if you had to pay any sort of money for it. It's probably worth £2-3 quid, but nothing more than that. And that's all I've got to say about it really. Revolt for the Dreamcast, just a generic sort of release in my opinion.